is non-medical ways to help your seizures. When I first realized I was having seizures, it was about 4 years ago. I am always completely conscious, and they happen a few times a week to a few times a month. Though I know now that I also seem to have a tonic-clonic nocturnal seizure about once a year. I'm a bit of a health nut, so I wanted to see if there was anything I could do to remedy them without medication. I was already on a super healthy diet and exercise, so it made me wonder if I was doing something wrong. In my research, I was surprised to find that lifestyle and diet are really not things found to contribute to your getting epilepsy, nor with helping it. The only thing I found that studies actually show did help was meditation, yoga, and stress reduce, which probably also includes sleeping better. So already being someone very into spiritually, but not into yoga medicine, I dove into them hardcore, and indeed, my simple partials evolved and changed to become much shorter in duration and much more positive feeling. There had been a cloudiness and negativity in them before, and they lasted about twice as long. So I kind of enjoy them now, but I'm not sure that they've decreased in frequency, and I do still seem to have nocturnal seizure at least once a year. So I feel very blessed to have this in not such an awful way, and wanted to share how this has been helpful. But also, I'm wondering if anyone else has experienced this or has other things you do that don't exclude meditation or medication or surgery. Mm. Um,
I want to say is, where's Tuna when we need him for the warning?
right. So if you're watching this, I had a friend who wasn't taking his medication at all, and he was still catching the city bus, and he was living alone, and he was just smoking pot and taking B12 and calcium and all kinds of substances. Well, not all kinds of, but etc. Um, yeah,
He
he
was
said it
trying
was
to help.
working. So if you're watching, I don't suggest it, but I'm telling you, it happened. Um, he was my success story for a while, but a week after he told me that story, he posted a picture to where he heard all of his face right here. Um, and if you are watching this now and you've watched previous episodes, then you'll see him, and it was all that messed up for days and weeks. Well, not weeks, but I'm a little exaggerating. It was messed up. I've had some injuries, but his was messed up. I haven't had the black eye and the swollen part, but I have hit the cement and like scratched off all the skin right here. So I had like a huge scab right here for a week. I had that. Um, had to get over that fast because that was hard to think about going outside in front of people. Like, you see this, and then eventually it just turned to a big scab, and it was ugly. But I digress. Um, Anybody else?
That's all we needed to hear.
Don't stop taking your meds.
Right.
Not without medical assistance or medical supervision, at least. At least let somebody know what you're doing.
Get a nanny cam.
Right.
I swear, you're gonna get an endorsement. You're getting one of those sponsorship deals. Check out this one though. Somebody's got a question about seizure from weed. Okay, so my little brothers are in high school and they both smoke weed. I've never smoked in my life. Today I came home and they were both very stoned and they had just come back from the gym. They mentioned how they hadn't eaten anything all day, so we all went to go make food. Suddenly, one of my brothers begins to explain how he doesn't feel good and that he feels sick. He sits down, and I focus on making food, but when I look back at him, his face was pale, discolored, his eyes were bloodshot. He literally looked like a corpse. Before I could even react, his eyes rolled to the back of his head and he began falling back. My brother and I ran to catch him and I tried to wake him up, but he began convulsing violently. He did this for about a minute before I ran to call the ambulance because I truly did not know what else to do. Before I could call, he came to. He was sweating, his eyes were bloodshot, but he was acting normally. This was truly one of the scariest things I've ever witnessed, but my brothers keep insisting it's normal. Is this normal? should I be more concerned for my brother?
Yeah. That's not smoking pot. I smoked a lot of pot in my days, and yeah, I didn't have seizures, and
At least check the source.
yeah, yeah, pot's never done that to me. I can say that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I
if
mean,
you're out there
even if it's
smoking
not
pot,
clean, like that THC, CBD, that shouldn't do that.
That
So
sounds
I don't
like
even know
something
what
that
that could have
was
been laced with.
laced.
That's what I was gonna say. I don't know what that could have been laced with, but if she's
You know,
attributing this to that and the brothers are brushing it off as this is normal, it's probably not the weed.
they said they
right,
hadn't eaten for a while, so um, yeah, they should
Lowers
get
the
their blood
threshold.
sugar. Yeah, and two, you can have like you have diabetes, you don't know it. I think you can look like a seizure.
mm. Yeah, I've heard about the diabetic induced seizures, the sugar drop and all that stuff. Haven't seen one yet. Actually, I think I have now that I think about it
So
recently.
what's this talk about
Yeah.
greened out? Says one of the comments says I've greened out before and it causes me to feel like a seizure may come on, but it doesn't. So is that just smoking too much?
I've never heard the term smoking too much.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what greened out could be.
Uh, yeah, smoking too much, that's a preference word.
Yeah. And either way, that comment still says, but that would never cause convulsions. So yeah, greened out is probably just some like new term for being done.
Yeah, because after a seizure, I usually smoke a
Roll
decent
another.
amount. It's because I think it's going to help. It usually kind of helps with the headache more than anything else, and then it helps me kind of feel rested instead of feeling that feeling of I'm just in pain. I want to get up. I want to do this and that. Smoking right after kind of helps me rest and be peaceful and
There's
kind of
quite a few comments of like proud stoners who are saying this is not weed. Get him to a doctor.
right. He needs a doctor.
Yeah. And
Can't be
especially since
weed.
it's the two of them. Exactly. Since it's the two of them, they're both, they're brothers. They're doing this together and it's happening to one and not the other. And you're literally having like like Em said, went without a meal, did the same thing. They were both at the gym supposedly before this. So yeah, it's not the weed. Own up. Take care of it.
Right. Yeah, I would have went that day, and um, yeah, because if weed ever makes me have a seizure, if I ever have a seizure while I'm smoking, I told myself already I'm gonna go to the hospital because it's obviously not the weed or something in the weed, but I got a reliable source. You go to dispensaries and stuff like that would help, and yeah, you gotta know what's in your weed. So I wouldn't say find a dispensary, but yeah, know what you're smoking.
Do people still smoke like that K2 shit? Because that I'm pretty sure gave me a seizure. That was like 15 years ago though.
I mean,
So
K for
like
some kind of
spice,
kush.
I was like this synthetic weed. I think they outlawed it in most places, but
spice.
spice.
OG Kush?
Yeah.
What,
Huh?
Angel?
I thought she was saying OG Kush.
No.
No,
Spice.
it's synthetic. It's not,
Oh,
yeah, it's not real. It's all, I mean, do they make it in a lab?
I don't know. It looks like you crushed up some leaves, to be honest. It does look like crushed up leaves and just pieces of it.
He's
Like
not right.
uh yeah. Bunch of different kind of trees, different colors,
All right,
black,
what NHS wants us
orange.
to know about it is that synthetic cannabinoids, also known as spice, may be powdered chemicals dissolved and sprayed onto paper or dried plant material. Synthetic cannabinoids can also be made into a concentrated liquid to be used in vapes. Yes, I'm never gonna want to vape this shit.
I don't know if it's still my brain is fucked.
I've heard about it being disbanded. I mean banned or whatever. but I think I've still seen it in stores. But these were like corner stores.
I mean,
so-
if DEA's got a fact sheet out there about it, then I'm sure it's still around.
I used to work in a warehouse for Marshalls. They were buying like I don't know if it was soap or something for pets that was cannabis based, basically. Oh, yeah.
But that's a safe place to stop because this is not cannabis. This is sold under the guise of herbal incest or potpourri, and it's supposed to mimic THC. Like, they promise you some kind of psychoactive response, but it's not
I
anything
don't suggest
natural.
it highly.
No. And now that I see what you're talking about, it looks more like algae to me than anything.
Yeah, I had an experience. I didn't smoke it, so I need to start there. It was not an experience. I experienced someone on it. When my father first got out of prison, he couldn't smoke pot, so that had just came out, and that was I'm not gonna say that was the next best thing, but that had just came out, so I had never tried it. I heard of people trying it. I hadn't heard of any effects then because, like M said, it was like 15 years ago. So, um, yeah,
Yeah, we'll look into this.
it was
Never.
horrible. So with my dad, what happened was he came out of the room and he was just like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're smoking pot. What's going on? What's wrong with you?" And then like his eyes were like really coming out of his head, and he's like, "Come on, you guys, they're coming for us." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, they're coming, come on." And my mom's like, "What's going on?" My aunt's like, "What's going on?" And he's getting angry, and he's like, "We need to get out of here." And he's screaming and stuff and being real animated about it a little bit. Um, jumping around and doing all this and that. "You guys, we need to go. We need to leave now." So we got in the car and we drove and we drove. It wasn't that far, maybe like 3 or 4 minutes away. Um, and then we got to the bay because the water is close. In most cities, you can just go towards the bridges and there's water. So we got to the water, and instead of going across the bridge or down the street or around or anything, my dad was like, "Get out of the car." So we all get out of the car, and we're at the edge of the water now. And sometimes the water's not there, and it's just like marsh and it's low and it's mucky and it's mud. I'm not sure if it was that because it was like 12 o'clock at night, but he's like, "Jump in the water. We got to swim away." And I looked at my mom and I'm like, "My mom can't swim. What are you talking about?" And then that's where the conversation ended. And it was just like, "Are you guys going to swim or not?" And we're like, "No, my mom can't swim. I'm not letting her jump in this water. And it's kind of muddy. It's more mud than water because the tide is out a little more in that time of night or whatever the case." But that shit was hilarious. It's funny to look back on it and laugh now. But yeah, I've seen somebody on that stuff and it was wild. It was crazy.
How did
It
they
was
get
one of these.
away with selling this? I'm reading the back of the label, one of the labels right now. Okay, first of all, how these are marketed, they sell them in these little, like, I mean, I don't know how else to describe it, but it looks like just a little condom size like package, and it has like Scooby Doo on the cover, and the back
Ah,
of it says this is an aromatic potpourri herbal blend, and it gives you instructions on, pack it and smoke it. But the ingredients in it is like nothing natural. They call Nymphaea carula and something something in parentheses, but it says blue lotus. So obviously none of these ingredients are natural. It literally called one of the ingredients in it marshmallow. And of course they have some other like 7-syllable word in parentheses. I don't know how they
And
get
that's
away with
how
selling
you
this
know
here.
it's not safe.
Wow.
Nothing's natural.
yeah, like I said out here, there's a lot of quarter stores who just do what they want and let anybody want hang out in front or whatever the case, and the police don't trip. So California's kind of weird with that kind of stuff. Like certain places, I hear about people like the cops come and jump out or whatever, and everybody it's like going to jail. Out here, the cops are just passing by, and everyone's kind of hanging out, doing what they're doing. Hey, Rick.
And they're just happy to call it potpourri. Wow.
Rick, have you ever heard of Spice or K2 or K12?
No.
It's synthetic marijuana, we're coming to be told, and it's really it's bad. It's really bad.
Huh. No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it looks like you take like one leaf from 12 different trees and you crush them up, and the leaves are just different colors and stuff.
Oh,
So, yeah, that's what I see. There's like orange leaves, brown leaves, gray leaves. Just look like a bunch of dirt and stuff you find if you clean up sweep a pile, I guess.
huh.
I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to explain.
There's some
But
treatment center. One of the top links is a treatment center out of California that describes it as Spice is a blended product. It contains shredded plant material and chemicals made in a lab that boasts mind-altering effects.
okay, yeah, it's exactly what I said. Looks like leaves, potpourri, like you said. Uh, let them sit on the ground for a week, dry up, and pick them up and a few times. Don't turn them into dust, but yeah, that's what it looks like. And then they just roll it up and smoke it like weed. And like I said, my dad, he was asking my mother to jump in the water, and like I said, she can't swim, so we end up
That's
not
not
jumping
good.
in that water.
Huh.
Yeah. We got to the edge of the water and he's like, run, they're coming, they're coming, they're coming for us. And yeah, they weren't coming because we both looked back like there's nobody out here but us. And yeah, jump in the water was his next response. We gotta swim
How was
away.
his recovery? This thing says it's supposed to be short acting, like fast acting, but really dangerous in the meantime.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, it was that time we got to the water or whatever. Then there was a little bit of arguing. My aunt was like telling him get back in the car, whatever, trying to calm him down. You're okay. You smoked this. You did that, and he's panicking. He's and all that stuff. And yeah, it's about 15 minutes later. We walked away from the water's edge, got in the car, and drove back home. Maybe like 20 minutes outside. We got back to the house, and he went in the room. And I think my mom went in for a second. She closed the door, and maybe like 30 minutes they came out, and she made him some food, and we just went on about life.
Go figure. They got it on Amazon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. And they can actually get away with selling this. It's got almost 3,000 ratings and it's a 4.5. So
Oh, geez.
people actually use this.
Yeah.
Fake rates. They probably got paid to rate them.
Like I don't get what's
What
that's
is the appeal?
like I've heard of people like going bad off of like meth or whatever and having like bad reactions and jumping out of windows and telling people things are happening that aren't happening. But watching that shit happen when my dad did that shit, I was like, wow, this is amazing to watch. It's an amazing experience, except for the time he's telling us get in the water. And I'm
Right.
just like, we are not getting in this water. You understand that my mother cannot swim. And that was my main excuse. I wasn't getting in either way because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that he was tripping. I did not know that he had smoked. So at one point, me and my son's mom were just like, what is going on? Why is he acting like this? And he's really angry and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, once we got him away from the water, got him home. He was in the room for a while. He came out, he ate, he went back in the room. And like I said, we just went about life. Then my mom told us, oh, he was smoking that stuff because he can't smoke weed like you guys. And you guys are in here smoking weed. He wants to smoke weed, but can't smoke weed. So that was the next best option. And I think it had came out like somewhere around that time. So it was just like stupid, like untested and all that. Everyone was just trying it and it was the new in thing. So at that point, he was like hearing people doing it and hearing how, I guess, good it was a little bit and did it, but not good. Don't do it. I wouldn't. Anyhow, I have something here that says, Chat GTP diagnosed my son's condition. My son had his first seizure 8 years ago. Originally diagnosed as benign Rolandic epilepsy, this was far from benign. Regression in speech, motor skills, etc. Now at 12 years old, he still struggles
Oh my
daily.
God.
We ended up switching hospitals because of it, and now my 5-year-old son also suffers from identical seizures and regression. I found old pictures I took of my 12-year-old son's EEGs from 7 years ago, plugged into Chat GPT, and it spit it out right away. It looks like CSWS. I did some very quick research, and it's got to be 100% right. Nailed everything they researched. Moral of the story, if you feel like the diagnosis is wrong, question it. Keep questioning it until you get your answers. I suggest the same thing. That's just like get a second opinion. But I do not personally suggest Chat GPT. That's a
Yeah.
personal thing. That's everyone's preference. If you want to diagnose your kids off some stuff that I trust the AI for certain stuff, so that is kind of backwards to say I trust it for this and I don't trust it for that. But diagnosing
Medical.
epilepsy, I kind of don't trust anybody. So, yeah, especially a computer.
Yeah, I
Yes.
was really surprised to find out that they had a robotic arm do part of my surgery. Now that I'm looking back at the records and actually seeing the detailed ones that I got literally like in preparation for these get-togethers, I was really surprised to know that that hospital was boasting something called an O arm, I think, and that was definitely used during one of the first implants.
No.
Yeah, I was surprised to say the least. Like there was that was not someone's hand, like actually
Right, right.
cutting into my head, but it worked, I suppose. So once again, I shouldn't have just listened to the story and actually read the paperwork, not just assume this was going to be some fix all and go for it.
You ever have plans of getting it taken out?
Well, I got to get the battery replaced. So as long as it's still effective, we'll follow the plans. But I wouldn't assume I get it taken out since at this point I kind of trust the RNS more than the meds because it's actually shortening but lessening the severity, and the meds I don't think are worth the risk so far.
Okay.
But what that post was saying, that CSWS, continuous spike waves during slow sleep, is what that stands for. So I can see how she might want to trust AI for that because it is just comparing data that can be broken down to numbers and accurately, not necessarily diagnosed, but that's definitely some formidable evidence to bring to any and every neurologist that will get some treatment going.
Yeah.
Because
I could
that's
see that using it
obviously
as a tool like that.
Yeah.
I still say they need to train them and teach them like they used to, not to rely on the simple tools that will do it for them. Because when we go to them, they don't know what to say to us.
I can appreciate the ones who know how to use it right though, and actually take the time to bring the patient in, on their own treatment and explain this is why, this is how we came to this conclusion, and this is why we're going to proceed with these steps. So, I mean, I could appreciate the ones who use it right, but there are a lot more advancements out there. And like you said, it doesn't seem like everybody's really required to know all about it. Like general neurology is not gonna cut it for this group anyway.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
ChatGPT Pookie. You're a neurologist right now.
No, I wish. So I got something to Kate says the smoking weed thing. Someone said, can weed be the cause of my brother's seizures? My brother is 24. He's never had any sort of medical problems. He's never had any sort of medical problems until like the ending of last year or the beginning of this year. He got a seizure. We're not sure what the cause is, but my mom is so sure it's what he smokes, which is a wax pen. And from that one seizure, he's already had about like 5 in total since then. He just had one today. He's in the hospital. My mom was on FaceTime with him, and he had another. And he's smoking still. I know he's smoking still. I know that because he told me. I took his pen away, and since yesterday, like at 10, I kept it because I had already had a feeling something would happen. He was sleeping during the day, which is something he doesn't do. And when I asked, he said he was fine, but I knew something was wrong. The doctors haven't told us what is the cause of it, but if it is smoking, I'm not letting him smoke it anymore. Do you think it was the weed? I've heard stories about the wax pen being different for certain people, and they tell people to stop smoking it or certain waxes or whatever the case. The wax pen in particular. Oh, but yeah, the I'm not gonna say I never heard a story about weed because this was this one. I don't know. I think it's personally your choice of where you get it from or whatever. I don't know where he got it from. Yeah, you can get weed a lot of places that you should not trust, but people do because it's either cheap or there's always some factors into someone getting weed somewhere you shouldn't get it from. Trust your dispensary or your over the counter, over the street. Jeff, has any weed ever caused your seizures?
No, never.
Me either. Yeah, someone was asking that about weed and seizures. I don't think so. I doubt it.
And I smoke a lot of weed.
Likewise.
Somebody else here said that they're traveling soon. Their question is about the meds. But my meds are being treated like contraband. So I'm about to leave the country for a few weeks. Passport's ready, snacks are packed, vibes are high. But my prescription company is refusing to send me a refill before my current one runs out because it's a controlled substance. It's a seizure medication. Okay, so this is a little bit of a rant. Like these people obviously just don't understand that's how it works. I'm not trying to open a black market pharmacy in Italy. I just don't want to run out of meds mid-trip and go like that on the Eiffel Tower. Okay. To make things extra fun, the lady on the phone was giving me a full lecture like I lost pills or took 12 in one day for fun. I'm not, she says, I'm not popping Molly. I'm trying not to short circuit in a museum. Anyway, has anyone here switched to a med that's not considered a controlled substance? What was that like? Smooth sailing or medical chaos? So this person has brought it down to getting off the meds. The medicine that they're not allowed to bring, they're considering just abandoning because of that.
Huh.
What do you guys think?
It
Yeah.
doesn't sound like a good idea.
Right. A lot of things are just people that's your preference. Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good idea at all. But how long ago was that, Kate?
Now
This
you
one
can't
was
travel.
posted 2 hours ago in the Epilepsy. I wrote them the mods to see if they'll unban me. I don't see how they can
Yeah,
get away with
I wrote
saying
them
that.
too. I haven't heard anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we'll see. But yeah, this was just posted a couple hours ago.
Okay,
But
yeah.
if they're already ready to go, now is not the time to start teetering, whatever they call that, getting
Yeah,
off of any
I
kind of
would I
meds.
wouldn't mess with my meds, especially if I'm traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, is there any way to sneak some meds? I guess pour them out in your in your luggage, so they are in the pill bottle. They're just sporadically all over the bag. There's no other way to get pills if they won't let you take them in a pill bottle. I'm not sure how else to get them there.
Yeah, we can't open that subject for YouTube anyway.
Wait,
So
why did they say
You need to
why
have them
they're
in a
not
pill
the
bottle.
airport won't allow them or the country?
because it's a controlled substance. So for
Yeah.
international travel, rules are even more strict for something like clobazam, for example, is a Schedule 4, I think. But some whatever schedule they put it on that counts as a controlled substance. I don't remember what number it is, but a lot of epilepsy meds are controlled substances, especially when you get in the benzo area. And that's
Yeah,
why they
I
only give
mean,
you 30-day refills, and the mail order pharmacies will sometimes give you a hard time. And
Yeah, most
pathetic.
males won't even do it. They're like, nope, come pick it up.
It's rough.
hide some. Well, no, take that out. Take that out.
That's what I'm saying. We can't even
Yeah.
open this can of worms before YouTube. So
Yeah, next question.
just don't set yourself up for failure. Let yourself
Don't
enjoy
do
Paris.
anything
Yeah.
illegal.
All that
Let
country.
yourself enjoy Paris and see if they'll work with you. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah. So
I don't know if they changed the
Has
law, but I've traveled to Paris many times with medications, and I haven't had a problem. I don't know if they changed the law, but don't do anything illegal.
well, it says Xcopri, so being that it's new and it's a controlled substance,
Yeah,
I
Scopper's the level 5 we were talking about earlier.
yeah, so I'm not exactly surprised. Have you guys ever had any side effects, I guess, from the altitude, from flying? Does that cause seizures for anybody?
No.
nope.
Nope.
Oh,
No,
I've been
never.
on about 5 planes. Yeah.
okay, good to know.
So planes are usually pressurized, so I don't see that being an issue. I wonder if you go from, let's say, Kansas to Colorado. I wonder if that
Yeah.
altitude goes from 1,000 feet above sea level to 10 or 12,000. I wonder if that makes a difference. It does with the asthma, so I kind of wonder if that would do something with epilepsy.
Brandon.
Yo.
Hey,
Hey.
I'm sure you probably didn't check it out, but Brainstorm is official.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, I got some pretty cool stories. Somebody wanted to do a comic on them, so I was like, sure, we can talk about it. Check it out. Send me some stuff, and we got a pretty decent story. I was like, we might be able to work with that. But also, I got this character made by AI, so I just told them what to do, and they kind of just made it and told me what the character does and all that stuff. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. I actually put in there that there's a neurologist who keeps prescribing pills and doesn't know the side effects and doesn't care, and that's what it came to, the
Oh yeah,
overprescribing.
you're gonna be on Hulu next year for sure.
Yeah, so I'm working on it. Might get a comic, might get a little cartoon, never know.
There you go.
Is it Hulu or does Hulu even exist now or is it just Disney?
Oh, that's right. There are
Even
current
better though.
events.
Then now you're on Disney.
Hey, you never know. I got to work on those copyrights though, because the character is actually made, so I need to work on that part. Get some
I'll
merch
figure it
started.
out when they bump the price again.
Yeah. Anyhow, I got one here. It says, "Please help me understand my condition. I am an autistic, non-binary person and I'm biologically a female. I sometimes get physically paralyzed, usually when I get very anxious. And sometimes I've had convulsions. It all started a few years ago, and my doctor told me I am an epileptic a few months ago. I'd like to know more about my condition because he didn't tell me a lot. I'm always conscious when I get paralyzed or even while convulsing, although I fall asleep sometimes because I decided to just try to sleep while being paralyzed. I have anxiety and maybe depression too. I was depressed, but I don't know if I'm still depressed because my psychologist doesn't like to name things, or maybe I have an autistic burnout, or even a combination of the three of them. I take antidepressants and now anti-epileptic pills too. I don't know which of my problems to do with autism, which of my problems have to do with autism, which ones have to do with epilepsy, or which ones have to do with my ADHD, my depression, my anxiety, or myself. I am so fed up. I don't lose consciousness ever. I've established a way of communication with my friends while I'm paralyzed by blinking once or twice to say yes or no. I can still blink when I get paralyzed with my eyes open, although if I get paralyzed while my eyes are closed, I can't communicate in any way. I stay conscious I hear while I hear my close ones panicking, worried, or even crying sometimes. I've been conscious while the doctors shout at me nonstop at me to stop moving nonstop while I'm convulsing, or to talk to them while I can't talk. Doctors have mocked me, shouted at me, questioned me, infantilized me. They even thought that I just didn't want to speak. I am conscious while I convulse and feel the pain in my body and get tired because it just moves on its own. I am really fed up. I feel tired almost all day. I don't sleep well, and when I sleep, I can't wake up. So I oversleep every day, and I still feel sleepy and tired, which affects me daily. I sometimes want to die, but I won't. Can someone tell me which parts of this part is epilepsy? At least I want to be able to distinguish it from symptoms caused by my depression, anxiety, autism, personality. I just want to know about my epilepsy, what kind it is. Is it normal to get paralyzed instead of getting convulsions? Is it normal that it all started a few years ago? I didn't get paralyzed nor convulsions when I was a kid. Why now? Is anxiety the only trigger? Can this be cured? What can trigger epilepsy? Thanks in advance. I wouldn't say, I don't know what triggered epilepsy is different. That's a different word to use. Triggered epilepsy. I can say what caused epilepsy for some people, but triggered, that's a different word. You trigger a seizure.
Was this the person that said they were born female?
Yes.
Okay, so this could always be a catamenial thing. And how old are they?
Didn't say.
Okay, so depending on what stage of life, that be something to test. But overall, it just sounds like a lot of different factors contributing to what could end up being like the breaking point of a seizure. So take all your concerns to the doctor and go one at a time. Just see which one needs a specialist and which one this doctor even knows about.
And
What's up, Ben?
Right.
Hmm. ADHD, if this person can find out where those symptoms stop and seizures start, hit me up. Also, get a nanny cam. You're tired all day. Just get a nanny cam.
I swear, you say nanny cam so much, somebody's gonna see this and they're gonna be like, "We're gonna sponsor her. Let's get her some nanny cams."
I'm not trying to do that, nanny cam. But if
Good
somebody
idea.
wants to,
I got a
nanny
cam, but it's not a nanny cam. It's just regular surveillance, and it happens to catch me seizing time to time.
I like the
Uh,
Nest cameras, that like Google brand one, because it worked really well with night vision too.
Yeah, I got one of those. I just gotta get the micro SD for it.
I have to mute my phone in the middle of the night. Well, mute my notifications for my surveillance camera because it's so good that every time I move or turn over, I wake up with either the phone's chirping if I don't mute it, or I wake up with 30 notifications of every time I turned over. And sometimes I check them. Sometimes I'm like, okay, it was just another night. If I don't have a headache, I won't check them. And sometimes I just look at them and I'm like, okay, you're just letting me know I turned over. And then I'm doing the time lapse thing, and it's just head moving. It catches every movement. So like I said, I got to mute it at night because otherwise it'll keep chiming every time I turn over. And I'm not a heavy sleeper, so I hear it a lot when I don't mute it. And that's how sometimes I forget that my phone's not on mute. Because I'm like, why is this dinging? I don't know anybody who's texting me at 1 a.m. Yeah.
My phone could go off like 800 times in the middle of the night and I would not wake up. My girlfriend has to like shake me awake when something happens because I sleep like the dead.
Yeah. Man, I wish I could sleep that peaceful.
Well, no, it's more my body got used to only having like 4 or 5 hours to sleep, and so I would like just sleep like a rock for that amount of time, and now that's just what my body's used to. Yeah.
Or back in the day when there was like this nice work schedule where you could live on like 5 or 6 hours for 5 days out of the week and then like crash for all of Saturday, or back
That's
when little ones
that's
used to
how
sleep
yeah.
14 hours a day.
That's basically how my schedule is now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It says pharmacy keep messing with my prescription or not having it ready. UK based. Can I sue? For the third time in the last 3 months, my medication has not been issued in time. They say allow 3 to 5 days. It's been now 12 days. I have 1 day of Keppra left and then back to seizures. This is the third time I've had to take emergency leaves from work. Do I have a case to sue? I'm fed up and complaints are getting nowhere. The pharmacy don't even pick up the phone anymore. I wouldn't know anything about lawsuits. It sounds very lawsuitable. That's not a word, but yeah, sounds like you got something. But then again, it's a
Yeah.
different country also. So
Yeah.
So why are they tripping? The pharmacy won't fill their script?
Yeah.
and
It's a
12 days
late.
late, and they're running out of pills, and it's Keppra. So yeah,
It's like the third month in a row or something like that that their Keppra prescription is late.
It doesn't seem like it would be a hard thing to fill. So
Yeah.
at this point, it just kind of seems like the pharmacy is not like the pharmacy itself isn't doing their job. I wonder if they would get a better result by just swapping pharmacies, because that just doesn't sound right.
right.
Yeah, if there's not a stock shortage or some reason for them not to fill. I mean, especially with the generics and everything that's available,
Yeah,
somebody's getting their wires crossed. The prescription must not be coming up valid for some reason.
it's so
Which
weird.
way were they in again?
It actually said they were in the
England.
UK.
Okay, because I know there's been a lot of posts about Canadian pharmacies giving people problems. So I kind of wonder if maybe some of the other countries might have problems with shortages, or I know, so for instance, somebody in Canada, they couldn't go to another pharmacy because there's national pharmacies that they use. So it's like the
Oh,
same brand all over. So I kind of wonder if they have a similar situation where it's the town pharmacy and that's all you got. Whereas like here, CVS isn't doing you good. You could go to Walgreens or something. I kind of wonder if there's, no competition. So you're stuck with what's in town.
that's a
And
really
also, if they're in a small town, could be something like that too.
yeah, that's a really
Yes.
good point. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have Walgreens anymore, but yeah. Really, that's off topic.
Walgreens suck.
We have CVS and CVS.
I go Centerwell. I like the mail order.
Yeah,
Centerwell hasn't given me
Walgreens
too
kind
much
of
trouble.
left and never came back out here to the Bay Area of California. I haven't seen one in forever.
Yeah, I was confused when you said that. I was like, what do you mean? There's still Walgreens. I've got one right at the street.
They
Yeah,
gave
but then on
them
the other
so
side of town,
many
it's still boarded up.
problems.
So I can see how that happened.
Yeah, I know they closed a lot of them, so it's probably a lot in California. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Walgreens gave me so many problems with Phillips. I'm like, never again. It's either Rite Aid or CVS.
So yeah, I guess the person in question should really consider their options for like available medication, because if they're not able to fill their prescriptions regularly and consistently, that's a problem. So they need to look into alternative options, I think, and that's just my opinion, though.
That makes sense. I think, rather than suing, trying to see what other type of options that they might be able to get,
Maybe
whether it's
getting
mail order or something
yeah,
else.
that's what I was gonna say. Like getting them delivered might be a better option.
Yeah, I guess just a quick AI overview does say that there is well-known difficulties in accessing specific medications like Tegretol, that's carbamazepine,
Huh.
and lamotrigine, with some formularies experiencing long-term availability, is what they're calling it in the UK. Long-term unavailability, I'm sorry.
Okay. Rick and Brandon, you guys weren't here when I asked this question, and I have to ask it again because I've been so ignorant to doing this and haven't paid attention until I read this.
Uh-oh, pressure's on.
Right.
Here we go, Rick.
Does anyone else have fear of using single-person public bathrooms? I certainly do. I'm afraid I'll have a seizure and nobody will be able to help without breaking down the door. Not only do I fear the obviously physical harm, but shudder to think if anybody saw me in a compromised position. I know it's something we can't control, and when need be, there's not a whole lot of options, but still, if I'm with someone close, they usually join me. Just another fun aspect of living with epilepsy and generalized anxiety disorder. Um, for some reason, I never thought of that. Like when I'm in public and I'd be like at the train station or bar station or whatever, and I always use the bathroom. Well, not always use the bathroom, diapers. I always like never think of it when I go to the bathroom at those public places. It's never crossed my mind, but I always go right in and close it. And for some reason, I forget I have epilepsy, and I just go places and forget. I guess that's exactly what happened. I forgot I had epilepsy, and I just went in and locked the door behind me.
I don't know about you, Rick, but yeah, I'm the same way as you, Pookie, where like I have to use public bathrooms or like one person bathrooms all the time. So if I worried about it every second of every time I had to do it, I wouldn't be able to get through the day. Yeah. So I just kind of forget about it and just go, yeah, I'm gonna use the bathroom. That's it. And then if I have a seizure, I have a seizure. But if I don't, hey, great. But I don't worry about it in the moment.
Right.
So as somebody who had a seizure after getting out of the shower, I never thought of that. Like when I take a shower now I keep the door unlocked, but I never thought about the whole bathroom thing.
Mm.
I'm unique where things are mostly controlled, so I never really gave it much thought about the single person bathroom thing.
Yeah. That's one I knew like not a lot of us probably thought of because, like I said, I go right in the bathroom, I turn around, lock the door behind me. I guess it was just a thought of I'm in public and I don't want anybody to walk in on me. Uh, yeah, I got to pay attention to that now.
My my mom actually like about a month after I first got diagnosed, asked me like how I felt about just taking a shower, because she was like, I get nervous thinking about you taking a shower because what if something happens in there? And I was like, I just kind of turn off the fear take the shower, make it quick, and that's about it. But I don't like over stress about it because that's something that's gonna lead to
Hmm.
like it's more likely that I'm gonna seize if I'm stressing about it, sort of thing.
Right, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah, you kind of do what you can,
Yeah,
you know.
it's like stressing about what we can do and what we can't is gonna make it harder in general, I think. You know, if you just sort of roll with it, it makes it
Hmm.
easier at least.
Feeling like
Yeah.
you have a schedule for me anyway, feeling like I have some kind of routine, even if that's like bullshit, is it feels better that, to tell myself that I get up and do something similar. Like I'll find some time today to like put a piece in the puzzle or something.
I'm
But
sitting
there
just
was
staring
another
at
one
puzzle.
here. I have these 200-piece puzzles that they got me for Mother's Day, and they're gorgeous. But it's kind of silly to think that if I don't lose sleep, I'm gonna get it done.
Free to cat low.
Hmm.
Whoa.
Lovely. So this one is also on the epilepsy board. 21 female, started having seizure-like symptoms and needs some help figuring stuff out. Hey, I'm unsure if it's okay for me to post like this since I have unconfirmed epilepsy, but I wanted to ask around since other people in my real life haven't been so helpful. A few days ago, I was lying on the couch early in the morning, a bit sleep deprived when my body started to have horrible tremors. I brushed this off as an adrenaline dump due to the fact that I have POTS and thought nothing of it until I was sitting in a chair at the table talking to my roommates and I started shaking so uncontrollably I couldn't stand. From there, I was lowered to the floor where my body continued to shake involuntarily and it felt like my muscles were twitching really severely to the point where they were clenching. My roommates called an ambulance and help arrived, where my heart rate had been up in the 180s and my blood pressure was also incredibly high. Eyes were dilated. I was able to understand everything going on, but it was hard to get words out properly until they sat me up. I continued shaking for a good while after that. Bro, let me finish. Up until I got to the hospital, even. I get to the ER and I was told that I didn't have a seizure because seizures don't look the way I have them, but that I was just anxious and that it was the result of stress and gave me a Xanax before sending me home. The following morning, I had another seizure after looking at a TikTok edit on my phone that had some mildly flashing lights. This time I was unresponsive, but still completely aware of what was happening. I felt breathless to reply, so I was more focused on breathing. The paramedics told me I was possibly having multiple seizures in a short period of time and going in and out of them. They rushed me out and back to the ER. On my way downstairs from my apartment with them carrying me down, I had another presumable seizure due to the flashing lights of the ambulance, which subsided only after they turned the lights off. They injected me with something, but I'm not exactly sure if it helped or not. This time they did a quick 30-minute EEG on me and sent me home with no results whatsoever. But I seized during the lights portion of the exam to the point where the nurses had to rush in and perform a sternal rub and put smelling salts. It smelled really strong into my nose. The neurologist said there was no possible way I could have had multiple seizures in a row with how responsive my reflexes were. I was discharged and told to follow up with neurology for my results, but the neurologist said that unless I keep having problems, I have no reason to come. Does that mean they found nothing on the exam? I'm still horribly sensitive to flashing, strobing lights to the point that looking at them for even a second makes me feel sick and my chest tight. But I haven't had a seizure since because I'm avoiding anything that could trigger it. It's usually super aggressive strobing that hits me the worst. Is this possibly photosensitive epilepsy or something else? I'm not 100% clear on how seizures present since there's different types, and I'm not sure what mine look like in those categories, as most seizures that have muscle tremors and spasms result in lack of consciousness, and I haven't had that. I'm present for them, but I have a bit of difficulty remembering the events that took place after the fact. I'd consider scheduling with the neurologist, but he seems incredibly dismissive, and the fact I can't even come in to know my results kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'm not sure if that's normal. And they did an edit saying just to clear up my symptoms, and it's bullet points here: sweating, rapid hyperventilating breathing, muscle tremors, full body, severe muscle pain afterwards, no loss of consciousness, vague amnesia after the fact, heart rate 140 to 180, flashing lights are a trigger, spasms and movement seem to last far past seizure duration. Crying. Eyes can open and close, but I prefer them closed. Sometimes dry heaving, no prior history other than migraines. I haven't had one outside of flashing lights other than that first one. No fever or high blood sugar. Electrolytes looking good. Flashing lights, if I look away quickly, typically make me feel uneasy and nauseous with chest tightness. That's it.
Second, third, fourth, fifth, get whatever opinion you need because that was a seizure. Especially the first one because I already heard that you were sleep deprived. So that you just took down the threshold for a seizure there.
Do you have those photosensitive ones, Angel?
No, I don't have photosensitive ones.
Oh, okay.
Mine's just happen randomly.
Yeah.
But sleep deprivation, stress, and can like take down those thresholds,
What's that,
extreme
Ben?
stress for me.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, sorry. I did actually have this was back in October. I was super stressed at a work deadline that I needed to make, and it was all like inputting data on my laptop. So I was staring at my laptop for like 8 hours straight and stressing the entire time. And I got up to just go into the kitchen and get some water, and I just collapsed, and I was completely awake. I knew what was happening the entire time, but my heart rate, just like this person is saying, was through the fucking roof. And I was like, I got up after like 5 to 10 minutes, but it was really weird, and it did seem like it was a seizure, based on the fact that I've had them before, but it was unlike any seizure I've ever had. So, like, this person describing what they went through actually sounds very familiar.
Did someone say my name?
Yeah, it looked like you had your hand up. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Kate. I did. My video cut out. I don't know if anybody mentioned this, but the fact that when she or he looked away from the lights is big. That really ticked off to me that they should get a second opinion. Also get the write-up from the EEG. There should be like the piece of paper that says like the findings and the conclusion, because maybe something did happen and they're not taking it seriously.
Right. So,
Yeah,
someone
I'm surprised
says,
they keep getting sent home. No, go ahead.
I'm confessing that I've become kind of a jerk while listening to people's mental health problems. Epilepsy is so life-altering bad that many people's problems online seem so mild and in comparison, and it feels like they're flipping out over nothing. I keep this to myself, but it's what I think to myself. I admit I've become a bitter jerk about this. That's why I'm confessing to other epileptics, because epilepsy is a real fucking problem and a real problem to be distressed about. So many people have the same problems created in their own minds. They all have anxiety and depression, but if you ask them, it seems like they haven't had bad experiences to start those problems. I absolutely hate it when someone on the depression sub says the phrase, I hate that I'm depressed even though I have had a perfect life. I hate hearing about brain chemistry when there has never been proof that brain chemistry alone screw people up. They don't know what depression and anxiety is. Imagine being at work and hearing a ringing in your ear knowing that you will lose your job if you have a seizure in front of everyone, or having a cluster of absent seizures and your boss is telling you something, but you can't understand what he's saying, so you smile and nod dumbly, or sitting down to take a final you really studied for, but you suddenly can't understand the words. The actual truth is, and most have read it, I feel like I have it worse than everyone else until I come to this sub and realize so many people actually have it worse. Then I feel so much compassion. I'm guilty of this feeling. Can anyone else relate? I'm going to say no because I don't take other people's disability as a joke ever, because I think people take my disability as a joke too much. So I take everybody's as an "oh, that sucks." I never really say, or like you said, he becomes a jerk off, but I've never really pointed that out, like, or felt bad because I never knock someone for their disability or say their stuff is much worse, except for you guys, because you guys have epilepsy. And I feel like you guys went through so much more than me. Like I said, I was only in a car accident, and then everybody else got it later in life and stuff like that. And except for Angel, yeah, I feel like mine is a cakewalk. All I'm doing is taking medication and having seizures. You guys, like Rick, you said you had something in your head. Jeff is having nocturnals. Yeah, like I said, I feel like mine's is kind of a cakewalk compared to what you guys went through. Like I had my car accident, but I didn't feel anything. I woke up out of a coma months later, had to learn how to walk again. But yeah, everybody else went through trauma. I didn't. Well,
Wait a
still call
second.
it trauma. But yeah, mine's. I don't feel like mine's was that as big as you guys. I didn't go through the pain.
Okay.
So about that.
Don't ever, Pookie, just keep in mind, don't ever discount, what you went through. Don't compare it, okay? We all
I'll try.
go through our own stuff. It's traumatic in our own way. Don't ever compare, okay?
Yeah, I think yours is way worse than mine. You couldn't shake it. Yours is genetic. You couldn't avoid it.
Yeah, but you
I-
literally just said I came out of a coma, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
thank you so much for backing me up here. Like, Pookie, you said you came out of a coma. Like, none of us have had
I
to
didn't
do
go
that.
through. I didn't go through the pain or anything. I just was like, "Oh,
Just
where am I?"
don't discount how
Oh, okay.
traumatic that is for you, though. Like, you have that experience, and that defines you. And like you need to understand that you're stronger for it, but you went through it as well. It's
Okay, what I could say is a lot of people don't find out they had a seizure. I mean, they find out they had epilepsy when something bad happens. Like Angel said, he hit the cement, fell into the cement or whatever. Yeah, with mine, like I said, I was in a car accident, and eventually I just had one down the line. But yeah, I didn't just find out because now my face is broken on the right side and I hit the cement and all that stuff. That's what I meant by it. Mine's could have been so much worse. Of course, I had to learn to walk again, but I didn't go through the struggle of yeah.
Man, you can't just brush that off like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
very
had to learn to walk
silly.
again.
Man.
I had to
That's
learn to
All of
walk
us are
again.
sitting
serious.
here
You
going,
wandered
did you
into people's
realize
houses.
Did
how
you just
wild
hear
that is, right?
yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to, but like, yeah.
Man,
You know,
you were
Yeah.
realistically, it's like, okay, how cool is Pookie? He's like, yeah, I was in a coma. Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
I had to relearn how to
No big
walk.
deal.
It was fine. Only took me a month. It was whatever.
That's just how it is out here by the bay.
I
Like,
started
dude,
this epilepsy podcast. It's really nothing.
like you
Saved a
have
couple
zero
lives,
reason
whatever.
to like feel like we've gone through more than you. You have gone through more than literally 90% of people with epilepsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
the bus trips, the 3 bus trips to another town, man. Going into a rehab? Come on, Pookie.
Oh, yeah.
You're the
You
man. There's a reason why it's
I feel
Pookie
like
the
you've
man.
gone more through it than me.
Well, yeah, but you told me like you found out when you like hit your face on the pavement. You actually had to feel that pain and all that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, yours is more dangerous than mine, I think.
Yeah, he didn't have to relearn to use his face, and that's nothing to take away from Angel at all. But I'm just trying to point out the insanity of what Poopy is saying.
Yeah, okay, I get
Pookie,
it, you guys. I get
Pookie,
it.
you've got 6 people here going, hey man, like respect what you've gone through and don't ever discount it. Like
And how
Yeah,
many
I
feet were
get
you
it, you
dragged
guys.
by that car accident?
Huh?
How many feet were you dragged in that car accident?
40 car lengths.
So you have it just as bad as everyone else, if
Yeah.
not worse.
it's like 120 feet. Jesus
Yeah.
It didn't hit me out of nowhere. Like, well, yeah, actually, never mind. That was dumb. It did hit me out of nowhere. Yeah. All right, I'll take it. No more excuses.
There you go.
But back to the question. Person is feeling guilty about being an asshole to people about their disability. Can anyone relate? Like I said, I never made fun of people for other disabilities because I already know how much people don't give a fuck about epilepsy. So, yeah, I don't make fun of anybody else for any neurological or mental health problems. It's all messed up. I wouldn't like anyone to mess with me like that, so I don't do it to others.
I joke around with my friends, like my personal inner circle, but that's about it. But I don't joke around about anybody else. I congratulate everybody for like even their like other epileptics for going seizure free, because that's an accomplishment, you know? That's a big hill to climb. So no, I won't. I can't be a jerk to other people for that.
You know, we all go through things differently. You know, some people who, oh, I got cut off in traffic. It's the worst morning commute ever. To them, it is bad. Other people get in car accidents during their morning commute. So, you know, if you look at things subjectively on paper, yes, this person has it worse, that person has it worse. But we also have to look at what people are dealing with. All people have different thresholds. All people have other stuff going on in their lives that this one event, this one illness, they have other things going on as well. So, you know, that's why I never compare, like, you know, oh, you think you have it bad because of this? You can't think that way because to them, that's the worst thing that they're going through right now.
I'm the
Yeah.
same.
Oh, go on.
Oh, sorry. You go ahead.
I think it's totally fine to feel however you feel, especially like if you maybe just got diagnosed. I think sometimes people just say a feeling because they say they're not saying it to anybody, and they still know that it's not true. So I hope that that's what this person. I hope they don't like genuinely feel a lot of vitriol towards these people, but maybe like a therapist might be able to help with that and get a nanny cam.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked what you said about the therapy aspect because it does seem like that's a lot of internalized feelings, where we all, will feel like, oh, what I go through is so bad. But it's like, yes, you do hear stories about everybody else who has to deal with stuff. And for me, when I got diagnosed, it actually opened up more concern for people with like trauma, head like or brain problems, brain issues. um and now I feel more, for them because I know what it feels like to worry about your own head every day. But yeah, I don't know, that's me, I guess.
Yeah, I think also I feel that a lot, Brandon. Like, I don't think I was that judgmental before, or maybe I just realized that I was being judgmental when mine got really bad. And I tried to explain, like, no, I literally can't control this. And then I thought about, like, well, if you have like debilitating depression, you literally can't control that either.
Yeah,
I feel like it gave me a lot
it's the
more
same.
empathy
Yeah,
for everything.
yeah. It's that, like, just empathy and like realizing what other people are also going through. Yeah, it's
That's part of the most frustrating part about understanding how often these conditions get misdiagnosed or just brushed off as the, not physical but psychological. You know, that's really scary because that literally just kind of puts like a red flag on your chart and makes it even easier for future providers to brush it aside as something else.
Yeah, which is
So
funny
until you
because
have,
how do you
yeah,
have seizures without having emotional reactions to them? And if seizures are happening all the time, how would they not potentially be chronic?
It might sound dumb, but this person said, "Can I take MDMA?" I know this question seems really dumb. Okay, I said that. I used to abuse it weekly for 6 months without any complications. I also used to mildly abuse oxycodone and 2CB without any complications as well. I distanced myself from drugs and developed some self discipline in the meantime. I just fucking love MDMA. I used to do it alone though, and now for the first time ever, I have the opportunity to do it with some friends. I told my doctor, non-neurologist, about this, and she told me I should discuss this with my neurologist. But she also said, "I'm a doctor. I can't tell you to take drugs, but you seem like you have it under control. I wouldn't worry." That being said, your neurologist would know better. I really don't know. I have an appointment on the 26th, but I need to know way sooner. Um, I don't suggest it, which is like a lot of things. I don't suggest MDMA. I don't exactly know what it is, but
I couldn't control my face during that description because I was laughing the whole time. There's so much happening in that. I'm gonna let someone else take over while I continue to process. Thank you.
Well, I've never done any drugs ever.
Hey, you're
It just
smoking a cigarette right now. You can't say that.
it's just a stick I'm holding. Mom, if this gets put somewhere. No, but if you really love to do it and you're not gonna do it every day, depending on what kind of seizures you get, you shouldn't do it because it's illegal. But I mean, you gotta live your life. That's how I feel.
I
yeah,
took mushrooms 2 days ago, so I can't talk.
yeah. I had plans on it, so I can't talk either. But I don't suggest. Yeah, it's one one's opinion. If you feel like you got this, and tell your friends, since you're going to be around friends, you're not going to be able to talk to your neurologist before then. So, uh, tell your friends mostly. Yeah,
Yeah, and also like be careful about fentanyl and stuff like that.
yeah. You don't want
Like real
to.
careful.
Yep. Don't want to get too. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of took the fun out of everything, but yeah, maybe let your friends take it first and then see what happens.
Jeff, you have anything?
It's just that, I do a lot of drugs. Well, weed. I've done a lot of drugs in my life, but I think it's crazy to do it now. Anything like that. I just think it would be a big mistake.
All right, what I miss?
Um,
A lot.
I'll
Drugs.
go back for you. No
I
problem.
came back to
A
hear
lot.
Jeff saying I've been doing some drugs. I was like,
So what you missed is, can I take MDMA? I know this is a dumb question. I used to abuse it weekly for 6 months without no complications. I also used to mildly abuse oxycodone and 2CB without any complications as well. I distanced myself from drugs and developed some self-discipline in the meantime. I just love fucking MDMA. I used to do it alone though. And now for the first time ever, I have the opportunity to do it with some friends. I told my doctor, not my neurologist, about this, and she told me I should discuss this with my neurologist. But she also said, I'm a doctor. I can't tell you to take drugs, but you seem like you have it under control. I wouldn't worry. That being said, your neurologist would know better. I really don't know. I have an appointment. Oh, after the doctor stopped talking, the person said, I really don't know. I have an appointment on the 26th, but I need to know sooner than that. I hate nurses. Excuse me.
Hearing you say it the second time made me laugh even harder than the first time because you were saying it faster.
Yeah.
The doctor is giving
this
you the
person's
best
going on
advice.
about how they have problems. They've admit that they've abused these substances in the past, and you're still considering it. And to say that you abuse the substance with no side effects, that's kind of counterintuitive right there.
Yeah, I feel like that person might be, unfortunately, could have been having seizures, but you're more likely to ignore that if you really love whatever you're taking and can't stop.
And like habitually using drugs that will fuck you up to the point where you may not realize you're having a seizure.
And before you know it, you
Yeah.
have a laundry list of comorbidities.
Yes.
What is
Yeah, and the
MDMA?
amphetamines
Is
in
it Molly?
Yeah.
yeah,
Is
like
that MDMA?
Ecstasy,
it's
Molly, take your pick.
it has amphetamines in it, and I don't know what kind, so I would be careful about that.
Oh yeah, because of the stimulant aspect.
So
Yeah,
MDMA is
it's an
Molly.
upper, but like until you're dead.
So, Pookie, yes, MDMA is Molly. When you first started saying it, I thought it was the Madonna CD, MDNA. And I'm thinking, okay, dance music sets the person off. So I totally went off another direction when you
I'm
started.
like,
And somebody
we-
brings that to an epilepsy check.
Molly and
Can we all be
I can't quit.
addicted to
drugs?
Madonna?
No way.
I
Like,
have to listen.
can we all just be addicted to Madonna? It'd be healthy for everyone, I think.
Oh man.
I can't stop.
Madonna.
Let's see what the political climate in the Middle East would be with that.
I never had Molly, but my experience with it would be when I seen my sister. She was like, "I got a drug test coming up," and she drives buses, and she was like, "Okay, I did Molly the other day," and then she's like, "What does this mean?" And I googled it, and it said amphetamines, and she was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "That's like methamphetamine," and she was like, "What? They're gonna see that on my drug test?" I was like, "Yeah, if you got it tomorrow, I suggest drinking a lot of water, maybe some cranberry juice, peach juice, whatever the case. Find something because amphetamine is what it looks like on a drug test. So that's all they're gonna see is amphetamine. They might take an assumption that it's meth or anything. So
get a prescription for something like short term that will at least be like, no, this is what I was taking. I swear to God.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and get some Narcan just in case it has fentanyl in it.
Right.
Actually had to call the ambulance last week because a gentleman, I don't know if it was a seizure, but he was on the ground and he was snoring, but his arms were kind of doing this like clutching, like convulsing thing. And so I had the ambulance come and they gave him Narcan and an IV. He ended up being okay, but I have no idea what caused it in the first place. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
MDMA
So
has
Yeah, I've
been
never.
used I was just going to say that they've been using MDMA in like clinical trials and psychotherapy for like PTSD, and even talking about using it for like social anxiety, like autism stuff. But
mm,
yeah, I don't know if I would trust like NPR about that.
do they have
Yeah, and
anything
that's
about
like
abusing it?
controlled.
Do they have anything about MDMA abuse in there? Because he said he abused it, which I'm assuming it's like
Well,
every
that would
day.
normally discredit somebody from even using it for a therapeutic purpose if there's such a, high rate of addiction. But then again, that's kind of what they're doing to us with these pills anyway.
Right. So on to the next about drugs. Ecstasy and epilepsy. 21-year-old female was diagnosed with epilepsy at 16. Have done and abused a plethora of drugs, psychedelics, weed, pain pills, meth, throughout my life so far. Antipsychotics and mood stabilizers since I was 8 years old. Now, I've gotten myself clean. I rarely drink and I smoke weed and these don't negatively affect my epilepsy. For some reason though, I've always wondered how ecstasy might affect me as well since I have epilepsy. Has anyone here done E or know anyone who has that also has epilepsy? What was your experience? Did you seize? Was it euphoric or an anxious situation? How was the come down? Did it interfere with your other medications at all? I will add that I have sort of odd triggers. Caffeine will cause me to have full tonic-clonic seizures, sometimes around my cycle. I will have short absence seizures. Meth is a trigger, and severe sleep deprivation. Flashing lights have never bothered me. In no way does this mean I'm going to start using e-pills, but it's just a genuine curiosity of mine. I do want to try it, but do you understand how certain substances might interact with epilepsy? Uh, yeah, I think substances just, shouldn't be doing them.
I mean, ecstasy
Yeah.
is the same as caffeine, just times 1,000. So if they get seizures from caffeine, ecstasy is like putting your brain on, 1,000 shots of espresso, basically. Like
Right.
Yeah, and it's like synthetic amphetamine too. So I'm gonna say to this person, don't fucking do that. I mean,
yeah,
I've
just don't.
never done it, but if I had, it was not a good experience, probably because I was having seizures. And it was like felt like dirty amphetamine. Just don't do it. Like, take care of your body and you're young.
This
So
sounds like another look at the big picture kind of thing. Why are you even curious about this? Why do you really feel like you need to try another substance when you've had your fair share? It's not helping, and you could definitely be using your energy as long as you have it for way better things.
Yeah.
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 So, on to the next one says, it's a really dumb question, seriously. I just read it because I'm like, why do people put this kind of stuff on here? It says, what's the main danger of driving with epilepsy? I know this question has probably come up here before, but it's a bit of a shower thought I've been having for a long time. I don't have, nor do I know anyone with epilepsy, so I haven't had anyone I could ask about this. And I feel people suffering with epilepsy will have more of an interesting stance on the situation than Google. My main question is if it's possible at all to drive as an epileptic. I originally thought of this question because that flashing that happens while driving through trees filtering sunlight, and I thought about how that might trigger a seizure. In this case, any advice? Mm. I just the danger is just endangering other people's. Other people. So like, if you want to
Exactly.
hurt yourself, go like to. I mean, I'm not suggesting hurting yourself, but just avoid situations where there's people. Just avoid getting behind the wheel.
That's why I like my main mode of transportation is a bicycle. Because if I'm out on the road and I'm getting to where I need to go using my own mode of transportation, if I have a seizure, I'm the one getting hurt. That's it. I'm the only one getting hurt. I'm not going to put that on anybody else, you know. Getting behind a 2,000-pound vehicle and then having a seizure is wild to me. So,
Right. Yeah. I just suggest don't driving. I'll read some comments. It says, being able to drive with epilepsy depends on
Someone has their
countries.
hand raised.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, I couldn't see it behind my picture. Go ahead, Em.
Oh, this person said they don't have epilepsy, right?
They said they do.
Oh, they do. Oh, okay. I thought it said I was just curious. Well, if they haven't tried, I don't know why it doesn't, but like, um, I've missed exits before is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And the worst was I couldn't figure out which side of the road I was on. And then that just kept repeating and like the whole world shifted. So I didn't expect that to happen. It just kind of happened out of nowhere. So if you have epilepsy, I would say don't count on that that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
you never know when you're going to have a random focal. You know, like you can feel kind of most of the time if you're going to have a tonic, but if you have a focal, it can come out of nowhere. And if you're behind the wheel, you do not want that happening for you or for anybody else who's on the road.
Right. Yeah. It's just
Even
endangering other people. That's
behind
my
the
thing.
wheel.
Oh, sorry, what were you
What,
saying, Angel?
Angel?
I would say you wouldn't even want to have an absent seizure be driving behind the wheel.
Exactly. There's so many small versions of seizures that can absolutely fuck up, your like entire driving. Sorry, yeah, you all know what I mean. Like it can fuck up what you're doing, and if you're driving and you're responsible for a 2,000 plus vehicle, you need to be like aware of what's happening. So.
Right. People are saying go to other countries and go to other states. It depends. I just suggest don't driving, and it's the main thing. I just don't want to hurt anybody else. I don't want to hurt myself either, but I could live with myself hurting myself as I've hurt myself before driving. I can live with that. I won't do it again because that could have been someone else. Being that it was Christmas Day, I think that was the main reason not many people were on the road. And I ran into a doctor. Well, no, I didn't run into a doctor. I ran into the wall. The doctor happened to see me, so he stopped. But yeah, just hurting other people is not something I ever have in my plans. I just don't suggest it at all.
Yeah, this one comes down to a common sense post.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like it is common sense. It's like, are you thinking of somebody else getting hurt in this situation? So yeah. Another one about drugs. Someone says, can I have magic mushrooms while being myoclonic epileptic? Hey, so me and my friend are trying to find out if I can have 250 milligrams of psilocybin. They spelled it wrong. It's actually psilocybin. I have myoclonic epilepsy and I take Keppra and lamotrigine. I can have weed. It relaxes me a lot and don't have problems with that. I've never had mushrooms and it's a Sunday, so my doctor's clinic is closed. Will I be okay or don't risk it? I listened to comments and other comments and they say they smoked weed instead. Yeah. Just like the comments, I suggest smoking weed, but I got plans on mushrooms, and I've done it plenty of times before, so I don't say.
You
Then you have
can
Keppra. That's the only
microdose
thing we
it.
don't have in common is this person has Keppra. But Brandon has Keppra, so go ahead. Tell me about that.
I was just about to say, so I am on Keppra. And I have mushrooms in this jar right here. Had some yesterday. It was great. I do not take enough to actually get like messed up. It basically it's like I only take enough to where it feels like the first time that you smoked weed, where you're just like giggly and happy. But
Yeah.
I have never actually taken enough mushrooms to where people are like seeing things and like, whoa, that's never happened. So I have no idea about like if you were to take that much, probably not a good idea. If you're only taking enough to, like I said, feel giggly, you're probably gonna be fine.
Have you ever taken enough to where like you close your eyes and you're seeing like kaleidoscopes?
Nope.
Oh yeah, it's one of a kind experience.
Yeah, no, I literally take like a few strips off of it and just yeah, it's like hairs off of it. Not enough to get fucked up. Just enough to feel good up here.
Yeah, so that's the kind Ann was talking about. I tried the chocolates. I don't like the mushrooms itself because it tastes like dirt, although I don't know what dirt tastes like. You know what I mean? The taste is just like, tastes like eating a plant.
That's fair.
Go eat some rose petals that have been sitting in the dirt for a while. Something just tastes like dust. Like things you just don't know have a taste. Like I don't even know what
Absolutely.
dust tastes like, but you understand where I'm coming from. Chewing those mushrooms and they're just like plant that's been sitting there tastes like
It's
dirt.
not great. It does not taste great. Yeah, that's why I'm not one
I
of those
like
people who can
it.
like chew a whole cap.
I like the taste. I think I'm the only person who loves the taste.
But
I think Anne would just
M's
say
w-
no what you're getting.
but M's at least with me on like mushrooms being yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do them. I don't even know if it's related to epilepsy, but I tried watching Black Panther. No reason. So no, yeah, it's probably fine for most people.
Yeah.
All right, well, never mind.
Yeah. So
Yeah, anything to turn Black Panther into a like terror. Like, I mean, did you cry out of terror, or you just like totally no reason?
No reason at all. I do it every time on
Wow.
mushrooms. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even picture that. But all right, good insight.
yeah.
All right. So we've at least covered the fact that mushrooms can be okay. Just be aware of your body. Don't do anything crazy that you think you can't handle.
Everybody
Yeah,
just
so
wants to know what drugs they can take, man.
I'm amazed with the MDMA and like the person who was taking all the crazy shit. I was like, whoa, how can you do this?
In the opening line, like in the opening line, they mentioned meth like 5 words in, and
right.
Like I abused this,
what's
and
next?
this.
Yeah. Meth is a
Jesus.
trigger. Should I do amphetamine laced MDMA?
It's
You
like,
know?
Right.
oh, I don't think you should be doing that stuff anyway, but we're a non-judgmental space here, so
To each his own.
exactly.
I say you shouldn't, but yeah.
But I'm
Your
not
body.
This
We're
is
not
the age of
cops.
the internet.
Free
So
person.
Yeah, and
anybody
honestly,
can
I'm
say
only saying
anything.
don't do it because meth is a trigger for this person.
Right.
Like, well, you already kind of addressed that it's a trigger. Why are okay.
Yeah.
People want to
So
do
like
drugs, man.
one of the
Yeah,
times I did mushrooms, it didn't really do anything, but that was the time that I was like, this just tastes like dirt. It was just like they took it, they grounded it up with their hands and they sprinkled it all over a pizza. And the pizza still was good. but every now and then I'd get a piece that was too big, and I was like, oh, I don't like this taste. And
No, I think you got a bad batch of mushrooms, bud.
all
I'm
right.
I'm not advocating that people take mushrooms. I'm just saying I think Pookie got a bad batch.
Yeah, it was only one time, so I never tried it again. So maybe I gotta,
I think Anne would agree.
right, maybe you just gotta get a different one. So yeah, maybe not all of them taste like dirt.
Well, you gotta come hang with me, man. I got some good ones. I'm just saying.
Anyhow, do your meds make your alcohol tolerance higher? Happy New Year to everyone. So this is on New Year's. Just curious if anyone's tolerance to alcohol is higher while on meds. Seems like every time I drink 6 shots or 2 beers, 6 shots and 2 beers, I never get drunk or feel buzzed. Not sure if it's because I'm Irish or my meds.
Irish.
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 Are you on Capra? Because then you're Irish.
Yeah. We are all in agreement here. It is not your meds.
Yeah.
What about meds from Ireland?
The alcohol
Can I
is
get
making
some of
your
those meds?
seizure threshold lower.
Someone else in the comments says, it's your Irish blood. I'm the same way. We are wired to drink. Mm.
Okay, what is the next drug people want to know if they can take while still
Yeah,
having
I
epilepsy?
know. There's got to be another question coming up about drugs. Like,
Epileptic boyfriend with an addiction to weed. Hello, I'm a 27-year-old female. Have been in a relationship with my boyfriend, 29-year-old male, for almost a year now. We moved in 5 months ago. He had always smoked weed, but since February, he started to smoke a lot. He has epilepsy and has been on medication for years. Recently, he has been hospitalized for his addiction to cannabis because he started having panic attacks and psychosis from it. He checked out of the hospital on his own. He had to stay a bit longer for detox, but didn't want to. And the first thing he did when he got home was buying weed. Since we've been together, he had an episode of cluster tonic-clonic seizures every 4 to 5 weeks because of smoking and neglecting anti-seizure medication. He told me that he doesn't want to quit cannabis despite being declared addiction in the hospital. I'm afraid of him having seizures, afraid like getting dizzy and feeling weak in the knees and feeling like throwing up. I'm a very anxious person. But he doesn't understand that. And when he smokes, he's a completely different person. Doesn't spend time with me, doesn't talk, doesn't want to leave the house, etc. And it frightens me when I think of his psychotic episodes. He thinks he feels like he's popping blood vessels, seeing death with his own eyes, screaming in his sleep, and when awake, being paranoid. And now my question is, how do you handle someone who is cannabis addicted, has epilepsy, doesn't want to take their epilepsy medication, and doesn't want to quit weed, knowing very well that weed prevents him from taking care of his health? The end. Weed has helped me for the most part. I mean, that's a personal opinion. So I was never told to stop smoking weed. I don't think my neurologist told me to keep smoking weed, but he was like, do you need help finding a program? He didn't say stop smoking weed. He said, are you still smoking weed? And then he said, do you need help finding a program? So I'm assuming he wanted to send me to some rehab for weed, but I told him no. And then I kept smoking. But then this guy, like, yeah, his eyes popping out of his head, seeing death and stuff. I think if the doctor told me that I'm allergic or I'm having stuff like that, I'd tone it down. But like she said, he took himself out of the hospital and then went to go buy some weed. That was hilarious. Yeah. Anyone else?
That's
Are
the
we?
part
Is
that
she?
stood out to me too.
this sounds
I
like
don't. I don't.
it's like a
Go ahead.
bipolar issue as well. I think there's an underlying factor of mental health that needs to be
Definitely.
like explored because I smoke weed every day. I have epilepsy. I can go to work. I can I can do my job. I'm fine. I'm not going to rehab because I'm smoking weed. This sounds like there's something else at play here,
Neglecting his epilepsy medicine. And the
And who
psychosis
knows,
part,
piling on what else?
yeah.
There's more to this story.
There is definitely
Yeah,
more to
does
this.
she know that? Has she seen him smoke weed? Like, I don't. It's possible that's what he's doing. Didn't it also say though that he's not taking his medication, which could also look like psychosis or whatnot, and the weed could just be something he doesn't want to stop. Maybe even because he doesn't like his medication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
withdrawals from some of these meds will mess you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about the not taking his meds part, but that's a big deal. The doctor's going to tell you anything. They're going to tell you whatever you're using. You're drinking orange juice and you're not taking your meds, but you're having seizures. It's one or the other.
I'm my orange juice.
Yeah. What I'm saying is like, yeah, you're having seizures from something, and if all you're doing is smoking weed, not taking your meds, of course they're going to say it's smoking weed. Instead of go take your meds, unless he did not tell them he's on meds. But yeah, there's something else going on. Yeah, meds can be the biggest thing, but yeah, take your meds. I highly suggest, take your meds and smoke weed. How about that?
And on
Yeah.
that note, I got to dip. It's been a good one. Have a great
Ah.
weekend or week, you guys.
All right,
Medication.
you have a
Later.
good night.
Later,
Bye.
Dylan. See you Friday. Oh my God.
What is the worst thing that can happen except a seizure if you smoke weed with epilepsy? For example, getting home high, then having epilepsy pill, even if you have had a seizure 6 years ago, haven't had a seizure by 6 years ago. I gotta read that one over.
Yeah,
What's the
I'm
worst
going to
thing
hear that one again.
What is the worst thing that can happen except a seizure if you smoke weed with epilepsy? For example, getting home high, then having epilepsy pill, even if you have had epilepsy since 6 years ago.
The worst thing that could happen is you have a seizure.
Yeah,
That's
that's the worst thing I can think about.
yeah, like
In the comments, someone says get abducted by flesh-eating aliens while smoking.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
got it. That's the
Someone
direction.
else said you get upgraded to epilepsy 2 if you take a hit right before and immediately after you take your pill. And then there's Anne in the comments. You could accidentally light your hair on fire. Seriously, though, some doctors will give you a hard time if your tox levels for THC is off the charts. Sounds like Anne. Someone said the worst thing, cancer would be pretty bad. But no, seriously, pot isn't guaranteed to help or hurt epilepsy. If it does cause a seizure, that's bad because it makes you more likely to have more. So that's the problem. They can cause injuries as well. So avoiding seizures is important. If I were determined to try marijuana, I'd use small amounts. It's legal where I live, though. If it's illegal where you live, I'd highly recommend against it. I could see cops getting called by paramedics if they find you somewhere having a seizure and you have marijuana on you. Someone says there's no benefit towards smoking pot in epilepsy. Best luck is CBD oil. Not smoking it though. Your brain on marijuana is like a cracked egg in a frying pan. But seriously, the worst is probably getting arrested or I don't know, losing friends because some don't like it. Another of the worst things that could happen is you immediately die of cancer. There's nothing that can stop it. It happens to 1 in 1,000 epileptics who smoke marijuana. Yeah, so marijuana is a problem for some people, I see. And then there's one that says THC halted my epilepsy. So for the past few years, I had been smoking Delta 8 and Delta 9 THC mostly, but they've only ever weakened my seizures, never actually stopped them. I walked into my vape shop and discovered THCA for the first time about a week ago. I've taken about 10 hits per day off of it and only 900 milligrams of my seizure meds. I usually take 2,100 milligrams. I didn't have a seizure any day. So last night I took a hit of it before I went to bed with no epilepsy medication, and I haven't had a seizure in 24 hours, not even an aura. I will update y'all as soon as I plan to go the next week. As soon as I plan to try and go the next week with only 1 hit off of THC per day to see if it has any effect or if I have any more seizures. I'm not going to stop taking my med just because I smoke. Anybody else?
Yeah, I smoke and take my meds. So you can do both. It's fine.
Yeah, somebody else says vaping and epilepsy. I want to try vaping at least once, but I'm scared that it might interfere with my epilepsy and meds. I'm on Vimpat, so has anyone tried it? And what's your advice? Never been on Vimpat. I vaped and it wasn't a problem, but to each his own. That's everybody's experience is different. Anybody vape that has epilepsy in here?
I don't vape.
How'd that go, Jeff?
Vape what? Vape cigarettes?
No,
Oh yeah, there's many different kinds of vapes. Yeah.
vaping cigarettes is bad. Vaping is like smoking it. It's not bad.
Okay, yeah, like M said, vaping what? Because it doesn't actually say. And I'll say I don't suggest vaping nicotine. Like someone else here says, it messes with their taste buds over time. Yeah, the person that says it messes with your taste buds over time also said, unfortunately, I'm already addicted since before my seizures, and stopping vaping is also a trigger. So don't start it because it doesn't sound nice.
I
Yeah.
guess stopping, starting or giving them seizures is just because their body's used to a certain level of the um the uppers, I guess we could call it, like the chemicals in the vape that are like bringing them up, their body has just gotten used to. So they could just sort of wean down, I guess.
Yeah, so there's someone in the comments that says, as someone from the healthcare industry, whether you have epilepsy or not, please don't start vaping. Recent studies have shown that vaping can damage the lungs, increase heart rate and blood pressure, and lead to long-term respiratory problems. Many vape liquids contain nicotine, which is highly addictive and can affect brain development, especially in young people. Some e-liquids also contain harmful chemicals like formaldehyde and is it acetaldehyde? Acetaldehyde, something. You guys gotta look that up. Which are toxic when inhaled. For people with epilepsy, nicotine and other stimulants may increase seizure risk or interfere with your medications, even without epilepsy. Vaping can impair your cardiovascular and neurological health. Please protect your body and don't let a trend become a lifelong health issue.
Oh, Pokey, are you also yelling at an animal?
I was trying not to yell.
Well, yeah, but you're also like correcting. I was just trying to get my cat to. Yeah, we were both doing the same thing at the same time. Sorry.
I'm saying that smoking a cigarette, but I don't think people should vape. I did it for a while, and then I worked for a company we made we made machines to do
So someone in the comments said, I'm not really comfortable advising someone to vape, but I vape. And it doesn't seem to cause any epilepsy related problems. No idea about nicotine though. Yeah, a lot of them said, regardless of epilepsy, don't vape. Why would you want to do that? It's addictive, horrible for you, screws up your taste buds, and it's expensive. Regardless of epilepsy, don't do it. Vaping is lame as hell. I'm on Vimpat and I just quit vaping. It made a huge difference in my life. I quit cold turkey and I had no issues or side effects. I would recommend you not even try it. What most people don't realize about smoking or vaping is it's an addiction that's going to cost you more than your house in your lifetime, than a house in your lifetime. Nobody actually wants to vape or smoke. They've just been brainwashed to think they do. Also, to people worried about quitting and it giving them more seizures, it's better to quit cold turkey than not quit at all. That's not for all drugs, though. I heard some they're better to wean you off in a hospital and stuff like such. But yeah,
I feel like that last comment, the long one, was not. I'm gonna say judgmental, but it just
it
seems.
was judgmental.
Yeah, like it's coming off very like hard on people who may need to utilize, you know, a stimulant or an anti-stimulant to just get through the day. It's not like everything is an addiction, it's
yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, harm reduction. I kind of like Brandon feel I kind of prickle when I hear comments like that because I don't think it really discourages people from doing anything except not asking and then hiding it maybe if they do it.
Also, it's been shown in studies that marijuana use help like being able to easily access marijuana cuts down on the use of harder drugs that lead to more problems. So, yeah, shaming somebody for like wanting to smoke weed every day is ridiculous at this point.
Got someone here that says there's no use in trying vaping. It's for fun at first, but then you stop getting a buzz and you stay addicted.
Do you
Yeah, the
stop feeling a
problem with
buzz,
vaping
or
is
is
you
it
can
just
do it
normal?
everywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing with vaping is no one has a problem with you doing it everywhere.
Yeah, and you kind of lose track of how much, at least when I was doing it, cigarettes are bad. But when I smoke a cigarette, I know how many I've smoked. With vaping, I would do it fucking all the time. I don't know if that's as big of a problem though, if it's just weed.
Okay. Have you ever peed all over yourself in bed? Yes. I peed all over my fiance in bed. I'm so sick of epilepsy. I have been dealing with it for 14 years and it just keeps getting worse. I have roughly 20 to 30 tonic-clonic seizures a week. And Lord only knows how many focals. I've tried about every med combination possible. I had VNS put in last year and doctor botched it, so I'm having a revision done Wednesday. I'm at my wit's end. I woke up this morning in a huge puddle of pee that also soaked my fiance, and he said I also hit him in the face. I was am so embarrassed. He understood and told me not to worry about it because he knows I can't help it. But how can I not worry about it? You just got to get it off your mind. Once he says it's
Yeah.
okay and he's over it, you just got to get over yourself being over it now. Because if he's over it and you're still worried, you're going to worry yourself and probably have a seizure. But
Diapers.
you don't want to go back
Seriously,
into a
diapers.
seizure.
Have any of you guys ever like peed or pooped, like during a seizure?
Yeah, not in the bed though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's never happened to me. So, but it's happened to my dad. He was the one who like told me like, oh, watch out for this. Because he has epilepsy as well, who I got it from. But yeah, I've never had to experience that. So I feel so much for everybody who has had that happen. Oh God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with you, Brandon, I want to ask someone. I don't know if it's I don't say well, I don't know if it's a good or bad question, but I
Yeah,
was
go for it.
thinking like you having epilepsy and getting it genetically from your father. Have you ever had like anger because you got it genetically?
So
Was it how
um
accepting were you when you found out you got it from your father?
how about we save this more for the one-on-one because there is a lot behind my relationship with my father that I do not want to distract from the conversation here. Was I annoyed that I got it from him? No, but only because I was pissed about a lot of other things. So we will we'll shelf that for a bit.
All right, you guys. So some weeks from now we'll have Brandon one on one. We'll get that story. Anyhow, yeah,
Oh, I
that's
wanted to.
go ahead.
I just wanted to recommend to that person seriously an adult diaper, like at
Mm.
least that way, like easier to clean up. That's all.
And a nanny cam.
The nanny
No,
cam,
not a nanny
like,
cam this time.
people have been commenting nanny cam, just nanny cam over and over. Who's doing that?
Who's doing that?
Yeah, so um I was just going with him. She might have something. Yeah, so peeing on somebody,
Yeah, we
I
going to
haven't
get
done it
you
yet.
some nachos.
Thank you, Angel, for coming back. I was literally just thinking, where is Angel?
I got another one. It says seizure on magic mushrooms. Unsure if I have epilepsy. Has anyone had one on unsure if I have epilepsy? Has anyone had one before on shrooms? I had one yesterday, which is the second seizure I've had in my life. It was my third time doing shrooms, done lots of acid before with no problems. I overdosed, seizures on a mix of opioids over a year ago, and now I've not done many drugs since, as I figured I should stop. However, maybe that wasn't an overdose, and instead was a seizure like I had yesterday on shrooms. I always considered shrooms harmless in terms of overdosing and stuff, so I'm very confused. Thankfully, I had a friend with me. Any idea what this might be? Please let me know. A seizure is a seizure. I don't know if you have epilepsy, but yeah, I don't know when to diagnose someone. So
It's
Oh, they
definitely
don't
their.
know things?
They said they OD'd on opioids.
yeah, over a year ago,
Okay.
and he
Uh,
says
is-
I've not done many drugs since then. So
The
this
only
person also said they wanted a
opioid
shot.
I ever did was morphine, and that was given to me by the hospital to replace my dislocated shoulder in. So
You ever abused anything?
Many things.
Tell me about it. Let's go on.
Um, geez. I had two older brothers, so they all passed things down. I started out by sniffing glue,
Oh, shit. That's
and then went to weed. Then went to coke and quaaludes, uh, and then I pretty much stopped everything. Um, It was all fun at the time, but looking back, that's a lot of money I wasted.
Everything was funner in the 70s, I heard.
Everything was fun in the 70s.
Yeah, like
Everything.
I heard someone, he told me he was talking with his dad and he was like, Quaaludes sound so fun. And I was like, I'd never heard of Quaaludes. And he was like, my dad tells me stories about the 70s when Quaaludes was all the rave.
It was. One time, my ex-wife and I rented a house while we were looking to buy right near Woodstock in New York. And my friend had given us these Quaaludes from Switzerland, and they were small and pink. And there was about 40 feet of passage, and every time I had to go from one room to the other, I hit the wall. It was crazy. There were a lot of drugs, and it was a lot of fun.
Sounds like a great time when everybody was on drugs and everyone was just, yeah, I can imagine, because I see movies and stories and hear stories from people and they're like, oh no, it was all the rave. Everybody had coke. Everybody did this. And yeah, until crack came out, it was a bad thing.
Yeah, then the bad stuff started.
Yeah.
But before that, it was all fun.
Yeah. Missed the good days, I guess.
Jeff, do you think that like hard drug use over time may have like contributed to your epilepsy or like made it worse? I don't know when it started for you, I guess.
2 years ago.
Oh, okay. So do you think that the drug use had any impact on that? I'm okay with drugs, so this is not me asking judgmentally.
I hear you. I don't think so. I think my epilepsy came about from I don't know if you heard about it out where you are, Lyme disease.
Oh yeah, no, I'm from Massachusetts, Rhode Island. So
okay, so you know about it.
Yeah, if basically the whole thing with Connecticut is don't go there because you're gonna get Lyme disease.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time out on Long Island.
Okay.
And so who knows? But it's a known fact that it causes seizures.
Oh, okay. I actually didn't know that, so that is good information to like be made aware for everybody, who didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it does cause seizures. I've had it untreated for over 40 years. It's not fun, but what disease is? Epilepsy is not fun either.
Yeah.
But my ex-wife reminds me of all the great stories from those times. So
That none of us can remember if, like as none of us would be able to remember.
no, I can't. I don't remember. Recently, she told me that we went to the Pink Floyd The Wall concert,
Whoa.
the opening night at Madison Square Garden, and I have no recollection at all.
I
Means you
hate
had
that
fun.
for you. That's such an awesome thing to know that happened, but such an awful thing to not be able to remember.
That-
Oh god.
yeah. Yeah, we went to a couple of very famous concerts that I remember very well, but I can't remember that. And I remember other concerts we went to.
But you
But
can't remember Pink Floyd.
I just can't remember it. So
Damn.
I guess, you know, it's random.
Yeah. I got another one about weed. It says, who else smokes weed? I've been smoking weed because it really helps my stressful thoughts, especially being at age 29, and I used to only have seizures while I was sleeping. But now I have seizures both ways, eyes open and closed. And it even took away of me trying to become a firefighter and to even be on disability now and to smoke weed as much as I can, but who else does? And does it help you? I didn't really smoke weed like that till I got more older because it's a lot worse than now than it was then. Agreed. But yeah, smoking weed, I wouldn't say it helped me or did bad for me. I mean, it helps me eat sometimes, helps me sleep.
Helps you get through life without stressing about every single friggin' thing.
Yep.
Yeah, things I need like sleep and eat. Yeah, like I
Yeah.
almost went to sleep earlier, but yeah, I had to go get some food. Yeah,
It's a good
yeah.
thing you didn't.
I don't know if anybody's seen me. I wasn't falling asleep, but I was just feeling tired, and I was like, I need something to eat. And someone was
I
talking. I
saw
was just like, let
you,
me go
and
get
then I
something
was
to
about
eat.
to say, Pookie, you okay? But then you go like, yeah.
Yeah, and then Angel was like, Pookie got the munchies over there. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I joined it, like I missed most of this because I had work, but then I fell asleep after I got home from work. So yeah.
Yeah, we're always on multiple hours, so you can catch us anytime.
No, I know. That's why I was like, oh, they're still on. It's okay. I can hop in.
Yeah, it's been going on 7.5 hours, but let's move on. It says, being epileptic, how can you tell you had a grand mal seizure or any kind of seizure at all when no one is around? Does having a swollen tongue usually a good sign that you had a grand mal seizure? That's the end of it. So yes, that's the sign of a seizure. I don't usually just bite my tongue for no reason, unless I'm eating too fast and barely even that. So, yeah, the tongue. Actually, I'm not sure if that only means a grand mal if you only bit your tongue. We can have other seizures that aren't grand mals where you bite your tongue still, right?
Yeah, probably.
So I've never actually bit my tongue. Like for some reason my teeth just clench up like this immediately. So I've never like bit my tongue. My teeth hurt really bad after from the clenching. But for me, it would be the sweating. Like I wake up like I had a flop sweat, where it's just my entire body felt like I just ran a marathon.
Yeah.
That's my like I definitely just had a seizure sign.
Emma?
I mean, you know what I'm going to tell this person to find out if they've had a seizure.
Yeah.
Nanny Cam.
Yeah.
I could say for me, for grand mals, how I can tell when no one's around, just like what Sailor Mom posted the other day in the Reddit universe about her back and her she said pelvis, but yeah, my hips.
Mm.
It's like, yep, that was a grand mal. That's the only time they go bad.
Jeff, anybody?
Actually, I was just to say good night. It's time to go to bed here in the East.
I'm right
And
there with you, Jeff. Yeah.
I'll
Night.
see you all next week or the end of the week.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna
take
hop
care,
off as
everybody.
well. I'm in the same time zone as Jeff. I'm gonna hop off. Later, everybody.
Yeah, me too.
Good night, everybody.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
all
get
right, I'll
going.
see you guys later, East Coast.
That's 4 of us.
Later.
Take care.
But I
Have a
stay
good
on
one.
to the end.
Dropping my phone instead of leaving. There we go.
All right. Well, Angel, you're the only one from the East Coast left. I guess we'll keep going. It says,
Yeah.
is anyone else awake during their grand mal seizures? I have grand mal seizures once I've fallen asleep. Then I wake up during the seizure, spasming, and all the usual symptoms. I can talk a little and see around me clearly while my body parts spasm, then black out again. I actually think my seizures might be the result of thyroid storms. Does anyone else wake up during seizures? I'm so over my neurologist who doesn't supply me enough info and appears to think that I'm hypochondriac or some shit. I don't drink anymore at all. I don't know anyone else personally with epilepsy that I can ask. I don't know if I could say I woke up because I've had those seizures to where, like, I have a seizure and whatever direction my face is facing, I can see and I can hear, and I wouldn't say coherent, but like I can feel myself gritting my teeth. I can tell I'm having a seizure by the time I look around and everyone's screaming and this and that. So yeah, waking up, I wouldn't know, but I think I was there from the beginning to the end. I was aware.
For me, I never woken up. Well, been coherent during a grand mal, but I was already coherent when I went into a cluster seizure, and I could feel like everything basically that would have happened in the grand mal minus the foaming. I think like you're probably having multiple seizures all at once, and that's all I can think if you're waking up during one. But I'm not a doctor.
Got that. Emma, you ever woke up during a grand mal?
I'm not sure I'm having grand mals during my sleep. I don't think I really know what that is, and I'm not aware during mine, so I don't know.
It's a tonic-clonic.
What happens, like, have you had one in sleep?
No. I believe Jeff has, but that's the shaking and convulsing.
Okay, I've done that during sleep, but I don't wake up for it. I don't know. For this person, I included in the chat, there's an archive of clinical seizures you can go through. I'm sure they have nocturnals and grand mals if they're asking about what, like, I don't know, maybe it'll show somebody waking up. I don't know.
Yeah. And you guys know your triggers?
Nope.
So I got something that says, ever since being diagnosed with epilepsy, I have lost a lot of my social relations, as well as I have lost most of my will to make any effort to talk to anyone, since I have been seeing a lot of abandonment even within the epileptic community. It seems almost as though no one cares, and I hate that not a single person reaches out because of my epilepsy. I have slowly but surely been losing hope that anyone cares, slowly falling into a depression. Is this normal?
Yes.
Yes. I was a teen, and like I said, many a times I think I kind of got it. Then I just kind of went about my life because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anyone with epilepsy. I didn't know how bad it was. I just knew that I was having seizures every now and then around my friends and stuff. And yeah, joining a gang, they kind of just comforted me through it. There was always people around when I had seizures. Yeah, when you're in a gang, there's always people around. So now that I'm grown and wandered off too many times, yeah, now there's no one around when I have them. So it's different. Ugh.
I would say yes. There's even been dark.
Okay, yeah, I veered off from the question. So yeah, the question was depression. Yes, it's normal that depression can set in with this at any point in time.
Yeah, especially if you're on your pills. Depending
Yeah.
on pills. Um, there's been dark times where I definitely had to get help, you know, whether it be my support system or I had to do a 23-hour stay once. So,
23-hour stay?
yeah.
Oh. Usually people say like 24 hours, 48 hours, 72. Yours is only
Yeah.
23. I mean,
It
23.
was 24 hours, but they called it a 23-hour stay, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to get out of there.
How much of your life has changed since your diagnosis? This could be big things and little things. For me, I've noticed I kind of developed in 11 p.m. bedtime because I now need a certain amount of hours of sleep every night, or else I'll trigger myself every night. Now I get tired around 9:30 to 10 p.m. and automatically get into bed because I know I'll be falling asleep soon. My nights being out, my nights being out until 2 a.m. are over. What's changed since my diagnosis?
Not
Friends.
much.
Yeah, I was gonna say not much. Lose a few friends every now and then. Not much. I try not to change and change myself and be different. Don't let it change me. So there's that. But I started thinking about like diet and stuff like that, and that didn't change after epilepsy. Yeah, not much.
I
Anything
mean,
changed for you after epilepsy?
I mean, I was already having. I went on anti-epileptics, and that decreased my seizures. But all the stuff was already happening, so and it had been for a long time. So it's hard to even say like what's a before and after time there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I become more like private and protective about my health because before when I didn't know what was going on, I would try to ask people and just all the advice that I got that just wasn't helpful. And then, now it's like people are always worried about me. So yeah, maybe I'm a little more just protective of that. But yeah.
Okay.
I feel like this is one of those questions where people were diagnosed when they were older and, they had to change their lives versus like, me and Pookie who were diagnosed while we were young and like we just had to go through it, like we had to adjust to whatever way we live with the epilepsy.
Right.
Yeah, there's sometimes when I'm just like glad that I had no idea. I don't know how I didn't put it together, but I'm like, man, I got to go to college and like drink and not think about it and all this, but I can't imagine what it's like to like get a diagnosis when you're younger. I feel like that's just good, but also a bit unfair.
I gave up on Well, I didn't pay attention to it, so I kept going on about my life. Yeah, I went through my phase of just drinking. I wouldn't say drinking a lot because I didn't like the taste, but I drink to get the feeling that everybody else is getting. And alcohol's never caused a seizure that I know of, because I've been there, wasted, and it's never
Yeah.
caused a seizure. And if I ever feel like I'm gonna throw up, I just get it out and keep going about my day. I hate the nauseous feeling. I just be like, gotta get that over with, get that out of the way. And I wouldn't say keep going, but like, yeah, just to get past the nauseous part, I finish strong. And yeah,
You gotta puke. You gotta get it out. The nausea's the worst.
yes.
I
Then I can
think
rinse
it's
my mouth.
only,
Go ahead.
I think it's only like robbed. I wouldn't say robbed, but it only affects like well, definitely for me and Pookie, like the driving part, but we don't want to hurt other people. So yeah, we gave up the driving. It's like we never got to experience that. But then there's other things that it's like, yeah, we're gonna go do that just because, even though we should,
Like what?
I've been on roller coasters. I done the what's that chocolate cookie?
Oh, the chocolate with the mushrooms.
Yeah, I done that. I done the alcohol thing too. Not the best, but yeah, I done that. I tried to live as, I guess, what you call what seemed to me as a normal as possible life to fit in.
Right. That's what
To
I could
make
say. It was kind of to fit in. I was doing
Yeah,
things with groups of people who weren't necessarily peer pressuring me, but it just seemed like this is what we're doing tonight. No one asked if you're gonna not do it or if you're gonna do it, and it just kind of happened. Uh, yeah, like
but
drinking was like, hey, somebody brought over a bottle. Let's drink. Uh, no one ever asked, yeah, what's it gonna do to your epilepsy? Like I said, I never knew anyone who had epilepsy, so I was just going about it recklessly until Reddit. And yeah, I'm not gonna say I didn't know it was so bad, but I thought it was just having seizures. That's all that's gonna happen is I'm just gonna have seizures. Uh, Come to find out, it's not the worst, and seizures is more than epilepsy. I was ignorant
but
just like everyone else without it. So
but yeah, I think it's just like it's that denial phase of the like when you get diagnosed, maybe when you're young, it's like you're still not ready to accept that you have epilepsy, you know? And it's like, I don't know how else to say it. It's like you're not ready to accept it until something happens, and then you're like, all right, I got epilepsy. I gotta get on this.
Yeah. Yeah, that seems to be like a lot of posts from kids too, who are just like, could this be something else? Like, I just got diagnosed. Can I just not take my meds? And that breaks my heart to hear that. Like, that just fucking sucks, man.
right.
But at the same time, then you get to like, no, don't go to Burning Man. And not that I've done this, but like do laughing gas and then get on your bicycle and then like fall off your bicycle. Like it might have been helpful to have some idea earlier.
Yeah.
And then Kate
Go
said she went driving until she crashed her car. And that's when she realized she had to accept her epilepsy.
Damn, yeah.
So there was another one I seen that I'm actually not going to go to it right now. When you said she had to accept it after crashing, I seen something that said radical acceptance. Was it hard to accept that you had epilepsy? How was that mission? Mine, my 20s is when I started looking like this is serious. I got to start paying attention to my epilepsy. So acceptance wasn't there all my younger teens, early 20s. I was running reckless, drinking, doing whatever I felt like doing. Yeah, didn't even worry about epilepsy. But yeah, it was hard to accept after I really paid attention to it. In high school, I wouldn't say it was hard to accept, but like the first few seizures, I was kind of, I'd say, would it be insecure? I was just kind of like, I thought people were always talking about me, people that seen it. So like I would pass someone because you know you have classes with so many different people, it's mixed up. You don't go to class with those same people every time. So I would see people from that class that I had a seizure in, and I'd see him with that group of people, and I